We've been asking for stimulus for the last couple of months, knowing that the building and construction industry always hits a lag during a recession. So that lag is expected to hit by September. We think it's imperative that we keep people employed and in working, as opposed to unfortunately hitting the unemployment queues. So it is great to see that the government is taking what we've put to them very seriously.
What would you suggest would be the ideal amount when it comes to a cash grant?
For the new home grant, we believe that $40,000 is reasonable, but we're not expecting the federal government to stump up all that amount of money. We think this is a joint effort that should be funded by both federal government and state and territory governments. And we're also asking for a renovations grant as well. We think that also needs to be significant to ensure the safeguards of consumers and to ensure that it's covered by home warranty insurance, for example.
So how much would that be for a renovation grant?
We think the minimum should be at least $20,000 to ensure it is covered by home warranty insurance.
Well, if those grants are given to renovators, though, what's to stop them from rorting it?
Well, obviously, there will need to be processes and safeguards in place. State governments already have systems in place for first homeowner grants and also renovator grants. It would then be upon the state governments to implement those frameworks that they think would be appropriate to ensure that there is the right use of taxpayers' money to stimulate the economy. This is all about saving jobs, not just in the building and construction industry, but throughout the whole supply chain and even the local cafe that relies on all those tradies needing their coffee at this time of the morning.
Sure. So, but would, if it were up to you, would you be giving the money to the renovators, or how would that system work?
It would have to be upon application by those who are renovating
so the
and
homeowner?
to show that they've put the appropriate safeguard, the homeowner, to make sure that they've put the appropriate safeguards in place. Absolutely.
So if it goes to the homeowner, then that would reduce the possibility for rorting.
We think it's really important that we look at the homeowner, that there is a contract in place, that there is home warranty insurance can be covered by that, and that, of course, that they are using a licensed builder as well. OK, Saturday penalty rates are to be cut and casual shifts to be reduced to 2 hours is being floated this morning. Are they your demands? We've put an application in for a temporary amendment to the building awards to ensure that there is flexibility within the awards until the end of the year. It is not dissimilar to applications that have been heard in terms of other industries and also what is reflected in the JobKeeper legislation. We think it's really important that we maximise jobs in the industry, enable flexibility. A lot of contracts have been signed before COVID and they take into account the need for high productivity. We have had to slow down because of social distancing, and we're simply asking that by agreement that employer and employee can come to an arrangement in a temporary way until the end of the year. So that means that penalty rates are to be cut on Saturdays and casual shifts are to be reduced to 2 hours. Is that correct? It's the penalty rates to be cut if there is agreement between the employer and employee, and only on a temporary basis while we're dealing with the COVID situation. As I said, it's very similar to what has been agreed by other unions with other employers. Unfortunately, we were not able to get agreement with the CFMEU, and as such, we've filed an application in the Commission, and we've got to provide evidence to show the justification for our application. OK, well, you just that was my next question, actually, is the unions have vowed to oppose those changes. The CFMEU says it's opportunism. So is that an indicator that the first test has failed? No, not at all. We believe that it is consistent with other applications that have been heard and approved by the Commission. It is up to us to provide that evidence. It's disappointing that the CFMEU has not, is opposing this application. We have worked well, surprisingly, with the CFMEU during this crisis in ensuring that the industry stayed open. We'd like to think we can maximise jobs in the industry and are asking for temporary relief until the end of the year. How many businesses will shut down, Denita, if conditions aren't improved? Well, unfortunately, our forward survey is showing that there's a decline in work by around about 40% that will start hitting us in September. That is both for residential and commercial. That unfortunately would impact up to a third of Australian workers in our industry, 450,000 workers. We don't want to see that happening, hence the reason why we have asked for the stimulus measures, and hence the reason why we've asked for flexibilities in the award for a temporary purpose.
450,000 workers, I mean, that's just staggering. Is that industry collapse?
That is close to industry collapse. It is forecast and analysed in comparison to the 1990s recession. If you have large unemployment in this country, it results in a significant decline in property investment. People simply don't want to borrow huge amounts of money to build a new house or build a new building if there is no confidence in the economy. And so that is why keeping people in work in our industry is so important. One job in our sector creates 4 jobs more in the economy, and that is critical that we keep the second largest industry working. We need those flexibilities and that support, and we're doing everything we can to maximise jobs in our sector.